Is the Austin housing market getting better now that the feds just dropped the rate? Jeremy Knight, the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. Look, the August numbers just landed and it's pretty surprising. I've been saying this for a few months that we might start seeing positive year-over-year numbers, and guess what? Well, that has officially happened. So I'm gonna go through the numbers, what's happening in Austin. We're gonna go through and then talk about the Fed rate hike or actually decrease, and what that means for the housing market and what that means for the Austin market as well. And I'm gonna go through some of at the end of the video, I'm gonna go through some of the cities that are seeing positive year-over-year and negative year-over-year increases and decreases, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's get straight into the market numbers. Now, let's look at this. So for the first time in a while, and I'll go through and show you the market numbers here in a second, the MSA, which is 5 counties of Austin, has seen a year-over-year increase of 1.3%. Now, a lot of people are saying that Austin is so expensive, and yes, I agree, the housing prices in Austin are expensive, but look at this. They are now year-over-year positive. And this time of year, typically we see a decrease in prices and we see a huge negative year-over-year. I'll show you that chart in 1 second. But look at this, closed sales were actually still down 4.6% for the MSA. And now it's really good for me to point out, again, I point this out in every video, but if you're gonna listen to Redfin, Zillow, all of these other subsidiaries that put out, Realtor.com, that put out information, I trust that Austin Board of Realtors information a little more, and here's why. In Texas, we actually have a non-disclosure. So you actually have to be part of that MLS in order to capture data, and that is exactly what the Austin Board of Realtors does. Second, anytime you hear Austin, it is 5 counties. So that's what this MSA stands for. It says even down to San Marcos, which I'll show you the San Marcos numbers and why it's areas like San Marcos that actually bring, San Marcos, whatever, that bring down the overall number. So we'll go through that in 1 second. But here is the chart. I think this is really important to see. We saw a rebound from the July sales to August sales. And why was that? Why do you think that was? Well, right here, we saw mortgage applications go up 30% for the week ending September 12th. That is amazing. And why? So why did this go up 30%? Well, let's look at the actual mortgage applications. They're up today. This is right after the announcement that the Fed dropped the rates, but they were down as low as 6.15 as of a couple of days ago. And I'm telling you, when rates drop, people jump back in the market, and that's why you're seeing prices go back up, because rates for the last few weeks have actually been down under 6.3. In fact, the camera guy who does this got a 6.1% interest rate, which I know you say is going to be super high, but for where rates are right now, that is really good. So yes, anytime these rates drop in the low 6.3, 6.25, you're gonna see more buyers back. And look, 30% increase for weeks ending September 12th in mortgage applications. Remember, I keep telling you this and people don't believe me. 40% of renters say that their next move is going to be a move into a home. And look, I know a lot of people say that the market's crashing, but long-term real estate has been one of the best for generational wealth. And this is not a fact that you can refute. Now, that's over a 30-year time frame. So yes, if you buy a home today, will the prices go down next year? We don't know, and that's what we're gonna talk about here today as well. So let's get back to the numbers here. Again, look at the prices dropping every time this time of year. Look, this is 23. You see prices start dipping down immediately. Big jump up in June, July, down, August down. This is in 23. This is in 24, down, and then they bounce back up at the end of the year. This is an early bounce back. And why do you think this is because same thing last year in November, we saw rates drop back in 2024 and 2023. And that's why people were back in the market towards the end of the year. So that's why people are back in the market. You tell me, are you back in the market? Are you not back in the market? But here's the thing, pending sales in the MSA, and we're gonna get to Austin in 1 second. Pending sales in the MSA are way up. The thing that's still holding Austin back is that we are seeing an increase in active listings. But look at this. This time of year, what happens? People start pulling their homes off the market. And so they don't even list. So new listings are down. Here's one piece of information I think that we all should know, that if we saw rates get back into the 5% range, which the Fed has said that they are going to decrease rates 2 more times potentially this year. That's what they've signaled. Now, if that does happen, then we could see more sellers back in the market, which could temporarily bring prices down. Even Ivy Zellman, who is phenomenal, she is the one of the first people to actually identify that we are in a bubble, says that prices may go down unless we see a huge drop in interest rates. I could play the video for you, but I'm paraphrasing there. But again, the average days on market for you sellers is up 7 days, 68 days on market. That is a lot. And my team is being very diligent. If you reach out to us and ask us to list a property for you and you're not realistic on the actual price, we actually will not take your listing. And I encourage a lot of realtors to start pushing back on sellers that don't want to price correctly. I understand a lot of our realtor friends, what they want to do is they'll take a listing, they'll overprice it just so they have a listing and something to show. I don't agree with it. Everybody does their business differently. I do not like to overprice listings myself. So if you reach out to us and you're not going to be realistic on pricing, then we won't take your listing. If you reach out to us as a buyer and you're like, hey, I want to get a really, really good deal and I want different ways to actually get better, get better rates, get better deals, those are the people we're helping a lot right now. In fact, the camera guy is under contract, closing very soon on a property, and they got a 6.1 rate. Because what happened when the rates dropped down to 6.29, I said, buddy, you better lock in your rate. He did. Rates came down a little bit further, floated that back down, which there was a float down in there, and now they're in the 6.1 range for there. So fantastic job there, bud. I'm going to get to the Austin numbers because Austin as a whole is totally different than the MSA. Bastrop is down 16%. Imagine Bastrop wasn't part of the counties around Austin that made up the MSA. Can you imagine how much higher the MSA would have gone? It would have been way over because Bastrop right here down 16%. But look, they only had 102 sales. So yes, that's a positive. But again, like when you only have like 102 sales, it will manipulate the data a little bit. So pending sales went up in Bastrop though. So you might see a spike in prices next month in Bastrop as well. Caldwell County, that's south of us, San Marcos area. They're at 4.5. Oh, I didn't even talk about months of inventory. Austin, though, is still at 5. Austin MSA is still at 5.9 months inventory. That's a lot of inventory for Austin. Basically, what that means, again, for all of the, maybe if you're new to the channel, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're not new to the channel, just raise your hand and write a comment saying, I'm not new, love the content. I really appreciate when you do that. It helps the algorithm, helps these videos get in front of more people. And if you're enjoying the short content we do, it takes a lot of time to do the due diligence to actually put those videos out. So make sure you follow those and stick around because we really do appreciate it. I am self-funded. I do not have somebody that pays for ads on this YouTube channel. I do it all myself. It comes out of my own pocket. So I appreciate when you do help share this content. Even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, it does help. And I'm more than welcome to have a conversation about being wrong. Okay, Caldwell down 24%. Again, this is weighing down those overall Austin numbers. But the city of Austin is up 1.7%. That's the city of Austin. Now, if we look at this, they're at 6.3 months of inventory. I think we are more towards a buyer's market, especially in the Austin area. New listings are only up about 1%, but active listings are still up 11.5%. It's a lot of listings in the Austin metro itself. So it's a lot. I mean, look at the list to close price ratio is about 91.6%. So basically, if you price a home for $1 million, it's selling about 91%. Of that list price, and 66 days on market for Austin. Hayes County, again, Hayes County's down 3.4. Closed volume is down 5.4. Pending are way up, and maybe let's go back to the Austin. Austin's pending are way up, and why was that? Interest rates dropped. So the more we see interest rates drop, the better. But look, what happened with interest rates right now? Interest rates went back up right after the Fed announced that they are going to cut rates. Why is that? The market's already, when the market thinks that they're going to price in, you start seeing the bond market weaken and people move their money back over to the stock market because they are not correlated. A lot of people think that hearing that the Fed is going to lower rates is going to bring down interest rates for homes. It is not. I can assure you it is not. They are not tied to each other. So the market's already like saying like, hey, we're going to see more. Now, had the Fed said that they're going to drop 50 basis points, maybe we would have seen it stay lower. But again, the interest rate as of today, filming this today, is up to 6.37. I think the low was around 6.15, around there. This is saying 6.24, but I want to say it was slightly lower. Could be wrong. And by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, here's my Instagram at @therealjeremyknight. I'm about to change all of this because I like to do just kind of news for the Austin area. So if you're not following on here, make sure you are following. This is about to change. We're going to change the name on this to reflect more of Austin, what we're doing with this. And my personal account will change to another account. So make sure you're following me here and then follow my personal account, which I'll tell you about later. Okay. Back to the numbers here. And I will get to the cities. By the way, don't worry. I will get to the cities numbers in just a moment. Hayes County, like I said, 4.8 months of inventory. That's down for Hayes County. That's not too bad for Hayes County. Still 92%. Their days on market stayed about the same. Their active listings went down and their new listings went down. So I would imagine next month you might see a price bump for Hayes, especially if pendings went up 4.5%. So we may see this number probably around the 370 range, 375 range next month. Travis County as a whole, the county of Travis County, 4.4%. Closed sales will down about 2.7%. Pendings up 11.8%. So more buyers coming in. Why? Again, it's because rates dropped. And then Williamson County down about 1%. 5.4 months of inventory. Closed sales 4.1. All right, real quick. Here's the chart one more time. Like you saw this pop up. Most likely we're going to see positive September numbers. I would imagine maybe all of the suburbs or the 5 counties will probably post positive, but I don't know that we're going to go from 540 down to 525 just based on the amount of increased impending. So you tell me if I'm wrong. Are we going to see a sharp decrease? But I think we're going to probably see 1 to 2, maybe 3 months of positive returns and then probably level off in December is what I am anticipating. So Bryce, you were good for getting under contract in July when we got you under contract in July. Actually, it was more of August, but okay. So let's get back to this. Let's look at the actual cities. Let's start with the city of Austin was up 1.1%. We said that. Number of sales were up for the city of Austin based on this data. Now, these are two separate things. This is Unlock MLS. This is where we kind of like the back end numbers. There's a whole different group that actually does those, the analytics. So let's look at Georgetown. Georgetown was up 1.1% with a median price of $455. Number of sales, they were down about 9% for last month. Georgetown's all over the place. And this is, again, because look, if you have less sales one month and more sales the next month, you're going to see the data skew quite a bit. So, but also that's also an indication of like where people are buying as well. We have Round Rock. Round Rock was 418 for last month, down 1.6%. We have Leander. Leander was down 10%. Pretty decent decrease, 2.9% in sales. There is some new construction Leander, but not as much as you would think anymore. Kyle, down, median price of $315, down 7.2%. Pflugerville was up 405, 1.3%. Still, their number of sales were down. So it's interesting how they're up in sales prices, but Leander was down. If you're finding value in this, please make sure you tell me in the comment section you're finding value. If you hate when I make these videos, just make sure you're telling me that as well. 351 for San Marcos. It's interesting because Caldwell County, which is in San Marcos is in, as a whole was down, but San Marcos, the city, was actually up. Hutto, a city I talk about all the time because there's tons of development coming there. They were down 1.5, 364, but they were up a lot in sales. Interesting that the median price was down, yet the number of sales was up. What do you think about that? I'm curious. Liberty Hill, a lot of you asked me about Liberty Hill. We've had several clients buy in Liberty Hill. It's crazy to me that Liberty Hill's prices are $599. Would you rather be in Liberty Hill at $599 or Leander? The overall sales numbers were down a little bit. Their average price was up. Dollar per square foot was up. Interesting, Liberty Hill was up that far. Buda, going back down south, Buda down 4.4%. It makes sense because Hayes County was down. I'm curious what Dripping Springs will be. I bet Dripping Springs will be down. 355 for Manor. Bastrop, 379. Number of sales down 20.7. Again, pendings were up, so you might see these numbers pop a little bit. Cedar Park, 425 down 15.8%, and number of sales was up. So if you're looking at Cedar Park, I wonder why you're seeing prices drop in Cedar Park like that. I'm curious if you live in that area. what you're seeing. Talk about Gerald a lot on here. There's a lot of movement north. 258 is the median price, down 4.3%. Sales were down a little bit lower as well. Median sale price, though, is definitely under 300. You can see right here. Dripping Springs, up slightly, 610,000. What's interesting, there's a lot of new construction being built out in Dripping Springs. So it's interesting to see this. And a lot of that new construction is selling, like you're seeing here, under 600. 312 roughly for Elgin. Their sales went up 24%. Interesting. A lot of people ask me about Lago Vista still. 410 down 4.6%. They were up in sales though. That's pretty good for them. Interesting that they're down. New Braunfels, I was very, very high on New Braunfels. Very, very high on New Braunfels for a long time. Their overall sales were only 18 homes sold last month in New Braunfels. That's crazy. That is crazy. But overall median price is up around 390. Wow. Wow. 499 down 8%. Lakeway, I skipped Spicewood. You're right. I'll hit Spicewood. Spicewood down 6.8%, 750. I just had somebody reach out to me to buy in Spicewood. So look, our team covers the entire area around the Austin area. So if you have a need in any of those areas, our information, there's a link in the information above as well to reach out to us to work with our team and our group. Okay, there you go. That's all I have for the cities. What did you think about this video? Have you subscribed? Do you think prices are going to continue to go up? I think on the short term, you're going to see prices go up, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think interest rates are going to continue to drop rapidly unless the Fed really signals that they're going to have another big rate cut, and that might drop them down. Unfortunately, that as soon as they announce it, that's when you see rates go up, and that's what we just saw. So, all right, everybody, we'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe. Jeremy Knight, your favorite Austin realtor. Make sure you subscribe. Said that 3 times, but whatever.